Mariana Budjeryn is a senior research associate at the Harvard Kennedy School's Belfer Center and is also a part of a primary nuclear policy research project called Managing the Atom. She joins me now live from Boston in the US. Good to have you here with us on TRT World. About 10 months ago, in October of 2022, President Biden had said that the threat of a nuclear Armageddon is the highest since the Cuban Missile Crisis. At the time, Ukraine was defending, but now things have changed. Ukraine is on the offense now. So do you think the threat is higher now?
It is very difficult to assess. Ukraine is a non-nuclear state, right? So what is the anticipation of what a nuclear armed state like the Russian Federation can do against a non-nuclear weapon state? According to any norms of international law, Russia would be prohibited from using nuclear weapons against Ukraine, especially if it's not on Russian territory, if the existence of the Russian state is not in peril. But we have seen Russia repeatedly and brazenly breaching every international norm, committing a huge amount of war crimes, right, that are waiting to be investigated, and for which already Mr. Putin himself has been indicted by the International Criminal Court. So, Russian nuclear threats are there. The risk is there as well. Ukraine is conducting operations in liberating its own territory from the invading force. Will that mean that Russia might resort to the use of nuclear weapons? Quite possibly, but hopefully not.
Well, certainly that's what everyone hopes. But when you say that the risk is there, tell me, do you think the international community has done enough in mitigating that risk?
The international community finds itself in a rather precarious and difficult spot where it's lacking levers of influence, and it's lacking kind of ways to convince Russia to not use nuclear weapons. Now, we don't have the full information. We know that there have been consultations or some kind of talks between the United States and the Russian Federation, specifically between the CIA chief, Bill Burns, and his Russian counterpart, Patrushev, that did discuss this possibility and tried to dissuade Russians from using nuclear weapons. We also know that there have been conversations between Russia and China and Russia and India, and the latter two countries, making their position making their position known, as I suppose, that any use of nuclear weapons would spell very negative consequences to Russia. And in that, I think actually the countries such as China and India and other countries of Global South could and should take a much stronger stance, whatever they think about, the ongoing conflict. They have been very vociferous about arms races and about standoffs between nuclear armed states for many years, and could certainly take a very principled stance against any use of nuclear weapons in a country, especially in a non-nuclear country that's not protected by nuclear deterrence.
All right, fascinating insights into the topic. Mariana Budjeryn, thank you very much for talking to us here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time.